Welcome to Adventures with Peps. Today we are painting the Warlord games Kleggs from the Judge Dredd range. The Kleggs are a race of carnivorous alien reptiles infamous in Mega City 1 as the mercenaries that kept Chief Judge Cal in power. Their ferocity, strange mannerisms, and their loving to eat fresh meat of their foes led to them being heavily feared by all in Mega City 1. So today we are going to be using the Games Workshop contrast paints range to paint some Kleggs. So this was a test model that I did a while back, completely with contrast paints. It had a black primer base coat and a white zenith highlight on top. Very simple, very quick. And then just using a handful of colours, I managed to get this effect quite quickly. So starting with the face. Obviously had to use a nice green, be rude not to. So I went with Creed Camo and Orc Flesh to try and mix up what the Kleggs all looked like. So here we go. The first one is Orc Flesh. It's the same color as the one that I'd already painted. And you just layer up your brush and go to town on it. So I'm covering the top 2/3 of the head, trying to leave kind of the under chin section white for now. And the goal with that idea is that I'm going to use Guilliman Flesh to cover the bottom end. So we will come back when this one is done. Right, now he is all painted onto the Creed Camo. We're going to do the exact same with the second Klegg. So I'm going to catch the top half of his head, making sure I leave the under chin a nice cleaner white to pick up the flesh tones that I want. And as I was painting this one, I realized this was the right color for the crocodiles. It's slightly darker. The orc flesh, unsurprisingly, is a bit more comical. If you want a comic book looking Klegg, use the orc flesh. If you want a bit more realistic earthy crocodile Kleggs, use the Creed Camo. So yeah, hitting up the head, hitting up the hands. These are super quick and easy because they're all large areas and the contrast paints just go on perfectly. It's a real joy to paint with these contrast paints. You just load up the brush, slap it on, and let the paint do all the hard work. Now we're going to do the under chin, as I already mentioned. So I use a little bit of Guilliman Flesh, and it's very simply, you just catch the under chin. Nothing fancy here. Takes about 2-3 seconds. I think I mess around with my camera more than I actually paint. So yeah, super easy, very what I think is realistic looking. And then we move on to the fun part, the blue. I love this blue. Cannot pronounce it. Thalassa blue? Thalassa blue? Something like that. But anyway, it's this beautiful, bright, electric blue that I think looks wonderful on the models. It's another one of those colors that goes on very nicely because they've got such a large zone to paint with the bodysuits. There's so much depth in the wrinkly parts, and the bold stand-up points are so more pronounced on these models because they are significantly larger than some of the others. So as I get into the painting of this, you'll see just the way the paint starts to fill the shadows. Just looks really good. It is such a nice finish when it's done. I'm going to play some music during this point just so that you can watch how the paint goes. I hope you enjoy, and I'll catch up with you in a couple of minutes. So with the blue one, we now move on to the yellow straps and chest, body, shoulders, back piece. I don't know what you would call them on these models, but we use Nasdrag yellow, which I find is a very warm browner yellow. Adds some nice warmth. It pairs nicely against the blue. And yeah, I hit up the boots, the slight little leg straps on the side of the model, all the back strap and the belly strap and the shoulder pads. Basically anything that's kind of armory gets hit with this color and just pops. Yellow and blues, yellow, blue and green. It's always a good trio of colors, and I think they just go really well together. It's very reminiscent of how the actual artwork for these guys look. And yeah, goes on so easy. I know a lot of people either love or hate contrast paint. I'm definitely in the love category. It's simplified everything for me. Allows me just to get paint on a model, move on with my life. I'm sure at some point I'd love to go back and do extra highlights, extra detailing, but for now, these look good at 3 foot, they'll look good in a battle report, and I just really want painted figures now so that I can start doing some Judge Dredd battle reports, get them up on the channel. On that note, drop me a comment if you actually want to see Judge Dredd battle reports. I definitely want to go through the opening 3 like beginner's guide, just so that I can show people how the game works, how it plays. It's very simple. It's going to be, I think it's one of those games that you can make it as hard as you want it to be. A couple of models that are roughly equal in points will give you a very quick, fun game. Or you could do it all the way up to 5 judges versus 50 perps that are running at them, trying to swarm, I don't know, a Justice Department food dump. You can do very good narrative games. And I think something with the Kleggs representing the Judge Cal era could be real fun to play through. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you want to see that. And whilst we're talking about that, this is probably a good time to ask you all to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Starting to gain some traction on this channel, which is wonderful to see. I would love to start getting closer to hitting some of the community buttons and unlocking them, so I can show off more of the projects I'm working on. And I think it would also be nice for you guys if I could do like the odd photo drop and show you what I'm working on. Get feedback, do some polls to see, is this something that you want a video of, etc. It's hard to gauge feedback now and again until those have unlocked. So I would love it if I could get those done. And I think we are getting close to finishing up this model. Just got his boots and a couple of straps left to do. Alright, we are finished. Oh, no we're not. Nearly missed that strap. We are finished with the yellow. So there you go. At this point, you can see what I've done. You can roughly see what I'm heading towards. We got some Flesh Tear Red coming out now. This I plan to try and capture the eyes, the tongue. Saying just a little pop of colour. I don't want to go too crazy with the red. Especially this red, because it's a pretty powerful red. It's not a shy, bashful colour. So yeah, I just capture those teeny tiny killer eyes on that one. And then on this guy, capture the eyes as well. And of course, the massive tongue that's lolling out of his mouth. Very simple pops of colour that just really catch the eye when you're looking at them. It helps distract you from the actual finish of the models. But yeah, so that is all those sort of key points done. We then move on to the Grifhound Orange, which I just randomly decided would be the colour of the guns. I have no valid reason for this. I've Never noticed the guns in the comic. I think during the Judge Cal era, they were just black and white. It was only later that they started doing the colouring on them. I just thought orange and black would look good, so I ran with it. The contrast black, it's the Black Templar one. I just use it for the gun barrels and the little stocks on the end of them. Really nothing fancy. At some point I will hit them up with just a little bit of like a base coat silver, like lead belcher, just to give them that metal metallic finish. But, you know, nothing fancy. These guns are designed to just be pointed and shot. There's nothing fancy at all. And now with the models almost finished, I just got to pull everything together by hitting them up with the Earth Shade. I think it was Agrax Earth is my go-to. Grab the model, load up the brush, and absolutely cover it. It's at this stage that I always get a bit worried. It's like, oh, I like how they look. Why am I gonna chuck all this wash over the top? But I find it helps to seal them in, seals the paint, stops the contrast rubbing off on fingers, which it's slightly prone to doing, but also just helps darken down the skin shades on these guys and starts to bring them all together into a slightly more cohesive force. And as you can see, we are done. There we go. We now have 3 fully painted, if I can get it to zoom, fully painted Kleggs to add to the Judge Dredd collection. Roughly, to paint the 2 big guys, took me maybe an hour 20 with some camera fiddling. If you're not messing around on YouTube, you can definitely do this quicker. But I hope you like it. I hope this is giving you some inspiration on how to quickly paint up these guys. And as always, I seriously do appreciate you stopping by, watching the videos. I think currently 20% of you are subscribed, and I know you're watching the videos, so I do truly appreciate it. Here's some close-up shots of the finished models. They're not going to win awards, but I am very happy with the final results. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.